All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. This is our coverage of the Demacia Cup, brought to you by Ghost of Gamers and Games in Asia. I'm Pyrotechnics on the casting desk this morning, this evening, wherever in the world you find yourself. And of course, joining me now is the awesome and talented Fruskarin.
I've never had an intro quite like that, Pyro. Thank you.
Ah, well, you know, I wanted to give you something special. I saw your coverage at IM was quite nice to see.
Yeah, it was a little special, a little bit of a big event for me, but you know, today we got some good games. We got Wings of Aurora versus All Gamers.
Wings of Aurora, of course, the one of the tied third place teams in the LSPL right now. Although they have been in the LPL in its initial iteration, so they're a team that might be a little stronger than you might think, just considering they're in the second league. They recently beat King 2-0, and King, of course, is currently the first place team in the LSPL. So maybe favorites here. I don't know. Their opponents not looking so hot.
Well, All Gamers is technically last place in the LSPL, and every time I say All Gamers, I'm just like, On Gamers sponsors a team and they're in last? Color me surprised. No, they don't sponsor the team. It just ties up the words. But like you said, Wings of Aurora definitely the favorites here to win, but we did see some upsets. Last week, LGD was taking out, so I mean, it can happen. Maybe All Gamers for Season 5 Worlds? Is that dream alive?
You know, it's a dream. Let's leave it at that. Right now, these teams actually haven't even faced each other yet in the LSPL too. So this is going to be an interesting matchup to highlight relative strengths and weaknesses. Now, being the underdogs too, All Gamers always have the option to pull out something completely nuts. Best 2 out of 3 format, you can get away with that, and looks like we're heading into champ selection immediately. So Wings of Liberty, I'm playing StarCraft here. Wings of Aurora are going to be on the blue side. Their opponents on the red. Yasuo, Ziggs already banned away.
Expected to see a lot of these bans. These are pretty common throughout the LSPL and the LPL. Obviously, Ziggs, really well known for being a big crutch in China. Gragas kind of the new flavor of the month as far as top lane. Pretty much played consistently every single time. Cassidy has actually played more in the LSPL than the LPL. That said, the LSPL has 16 teams. Excuse me, more teams. Yeah, I think it's 16. 16 teams, whereas the LPL only has 8. Both these numbers will be growing, however, in subsequent seasons, and it looks like a Kog'Maw ban is finally going to come out, so LSPL has it figured out.
Ban the Kog'Maw. It's all right, guys. We can do this. So, yeah, with Braum and Gragas taken away too, this definitely is a heavy focus on some of the more utility-based champions, although this leaves open some options still on 4.10, and that Kale looking to be locked in from Wings of Aurora right now, and this will be on to Yoto. If he does go for it, be the top lane, but they might opt for the flex pick Lulu instead. Looks like it will be.
I was going to say, there were a lot of big priority picks up. Jax, Kale, Lulu, all incredibly big in China.
Everywhere in China, really.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere in the world as well. Obviously, like you said, still on 4.10, so Kale and Jax have not received their nerfs yet. The thing is that Lulu could be top or mid. China plays a lot of Lulu top, but on the other side, All Gamers locking in the Thresh and the Lee Sin.
Definite must picks in a lot of cases. Lee Sin is just a crazy priority for any jungler, just about. In the LPL and the LSPL, I mean, there are some varieties too, but he definitely is something that gets contested on a regular basis. And look at this, Wings of Aurora hovering over the Jax. Do you think this means we're going to see a Lulu mid?
I prefer to see Lulu mid. I think you've had my speech many times, Pyra, about why I don't think Lulu top needs to be a thing anymore, especially in the double jungle meta, just because she doesn't do that very well. But with that Jax lock-in, especially with the Jarvan, that is not going to be the jungle Jax, although I don't know why they wouldn't lock in. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the jungler just wouldn't pick up his own champion right there. So maybe they're gonna pull, you know, a
it's
180.
style points. I mean, it'd be an interesting thing to see Jarvan mid jungle Jax, but I don't think Wings of Aurora are that crazy. And you know, being favored to win this game, I don't know why they wouldn't go something a little more standard. Anyways, a lot of bruiser heavy composition on that side. Meanwhile, on the other side, All Gamers is looking for the Syndra and Lucian pickup, and they will get it. So the Lifesteal bot lane, it's gonna happen.
Lifesteal bot lane, also the Syndra in the mid lane is a big pickup for China. That said, I have to question, Kelsey spoke previously about the power of red side and how counterpicking is really important in Chinese League of Legends. I kind of feel like he just counterpicked himself. You don't normally pick a high burst assassin. Yes, Syndra does have the highest burst damage in the game as far as any mage, but you just pick that into a Lulu, which is well known for being the direct counter to any sort of assassins, just because if you go all in on her, she's just going to wild growth herself. But a Lissandra hover.
This could very well be a top double AP comp. However, normally you think of Lissandra as going in the top in that situation, but this might be the crazy thing we were thinking about if they send wherever the Lulu is, send Lissandra all in, counters poke, right?
That would be a lot of fun. That said, neither Syndra or Lissandra are going to be able to stop Jax. Yep,
not very likely.
That's the period on that point right there. I kind of feel like all gamers got outpicked, especially running a double AP comp. The fact that they're 80 carry. Lucian, yes, he's considered very strong again, 4.10, so he's not the 40% CDR Lucian quite yet, but still relatively powerful. He's not a hyper carry. He's not Twitch, he's not Kog'Maw, he's not Tristana, which we're seeing on the other side, who has like an abundance of AD damage that's going to scale out of control. He's an AD caster. He does a little bit of mixed damage too, so that's pretty awkward when you see a double AP comp. Typically, you run more of a hyper carry, or you at least have to get your AD coming from somewhere else. Yes, they do have Lee Sin in the jungle, but I don't know. I kind of feel like this it was a little bit of a wonky picks and bans phase, but we'll see if it works out for them. A little bit background, though, about the Demacia Cup. I feel like we need to cover this every single time. The important thing about the Demacia Cup, this is the second time that it's run. The first time, it only had 8 teams. This time around, it has something like 30, I think it's 28 teams.
Yeah, roughly the entirety of the LPL,
and the LSPL,
and then a couple of other, I think, wildcard teams, yeah?
Yeah, the TGA Grand Prix team. So the important is the context of which it's bringing down the LPL players to play with the LSPL players. So you get a mix of everyone. It's kind of, there's no circuit points, there's no invitations to world qualifiers up for grabs. It's literally just a cash prize, and it's quite a big cash prize. I think first place gets $115,000. So,
yeah, of course, that's that American, but yeah, that's not an insignificant sum of money to win.
Well, you just had EDG and World Elite play yesterday. Was it yesterday? It's been so long. Play at the Intel.
Some hourly period. Yes.
I know that one tournament. They just played the other day for the Intel Extreme Masters for only $5,000. So in context, the Demacia Cup versus that.
And speaking of the Demacia Cup, we're getting started with today's round once again. It is Wings of Aurora taking on All Gamers, and here they are on Summoner's Rift. Best of 3 format, actually, so we could see as many as 3 games tonight. However, Wings of Aurora, big favorites coming in just considering where they are in the standings. However, these two teams, once again, yet to face off against each other. We'll see how they do.
And like you said, I don't know, did we mention yet that the winner of this game has to face OMG in the next...
We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to kill their hope just yet. Actually, the upsets have happened, so this is not exactly completely unheard of. You saw LGD actually got knocked out, I believe, by RM the other day.
Yes.
So, LPL teams can get beaten. Lends a little credence to that. Oh, whoa, Sentry getting hooked up right now, and they're going for him. Cat and DDG. Okay, all right, back away from that one. That's gonna be an early back. Meanwhile, buff switching is happening at this moment, but it's still a minute before they'll actually spawn, so nothing to worry about right now. They're just looking for the deep catch. I don't think they're gonna get it. That is a dangerous jungle to wander into.
I feel like we're going to see a lane swap, just because... Again, Wifesteal lane has a lot of kill lane potential there. Not that Tristana isn't strong level 2, but typically you want to bypass Tristana's weak early lane phase, get her into late game where she's strong. Leona, big pickup for China in general, not just Wings of Aurora. Obviously, we like to see the roam Leona support, so I expect to see that. Although, for a second I thought Leona was going to face check into that. I was like, whoa, where are you going? But yeah, definitely with the teams focusing around the red buffs, it looks to be a 2v1 lane swap. So we'll see how the top laners actually deal with this.
And if this does go down with the 2v1 situation, you've got Yoto going to be able to try and sustain against Flurry and DGG. Shouldn't have too much trouble. DGG is not known as, I don't want to say he's not a terrible support, but definitely makes some questionable decisions.
I think we used the word potato several times in kind of the background of these
Let's not be mean now, Frost. Anyways. It is going to be the lane swap, so we've got Sentry and Dream up on the top side initiating that one, and that means Zhao will have to hold out, trying to stop the inevitable red buff steal. Not really sure why, kind of hard to take that one away from Leva and Yoto, and that means there will be a little bit of a jungle buddy system going down, free push in the bot side for the time being.
And this is the issue with AP top lanes and why I dislike the AP Lulu, of course. Or, excuse me, the top Lulu. Of course, Lulu is this time around in the mid lane. Lissandra up there, she doesn't really have any tools to jungle effectively. Yeah, jungle Lissandra exists on 3v3, but she needs to take some time to catch up to Lee Sin. It's not like a Shyvana or Trundle, that jungle speed there. I will say that the one thing that she does have is she's really hard to tower dive. Even at low levels, just because she gets her little Frost Claw, is able to cover some great ground with that. A little bit safer when she finally does get down into this 2v1.
Yeah, Lissandra is an interesting champion, has been picked up in a number of situations, but definitely seems to be a very specific use champion. We'll see if All Gamers has something interesting in their pocket. I've not actually seen Zhao play before, so not entirely certain if that isn't just something a little more comfortable for him.
Definitely, but we do see a lane swap going in, so trying to find that 1v1 in the bot lane. Lucian, the Wifesteal lane, trying to find it in the top lane, but mid
They
lane...
want the kill pressure. Uh-oh, XMM, he's getting caught up by Leva. The double buffs are helping him to poke that down, but they don't have the DPS to take it, and unfortunately missed on the help picks, so Mordred will just go back to farming for the time being. Meanwhile, Dream and Sentry up in the top are going to be uncontested for just a moment, but DGG already busy clearing out the wards in that top side jungle.
More important through that walkthrough than the mid, it pretty much tells Cat that he's free to counter-gank the top lane because he knows that Jarvan's in the bottom side of the jungle. We do see him sneaking up there. Pink ward has been placed in the tribe rush, so all gamers are setting up to possibly look that way. See if Lee Sin finally commits to it. Right now he's committing really hard to his mini golems, but that's because the wave is pushed and there's really nothing there for him.
Yeah, just for the time being, and also the farm is staying relatively even most of the lanes, with the exception being in the mid. You've already got XMM actually finding more, but whoa, in the top lane, Sentry goes in, although it gets flayed back by DGG, and they'll just beat a hasty disengage. Dream should be able to poke pretty well under his own turret. This shouldn't be a big issue, but that means Sentry really has nothing to do. So if he gets a little impatient and decides to go in on that, it's dangerous. Cat also waiting in the wings for them to make that mistake if they go in. The hook nearly lands, but Dream will back away from that one. Rocket jump now on cooldown. Flurry's going to get a little bit of poke off. Leva's not going to favor this lane for a while, knowing that they should be able to push it out, but Dream and Sentry have to be so careful. Cat is just patiently waiting for this one. Although nice positioning here, and here they go. Flay forward. Summoner heal popped right now, and they're going for it. That is a low Tristana, and they dive on forward. The Ignite's taken away. Sentry face tanks a lot of the damage as Flurry has a tower shot in his face, and they managed to get away from this one. No first blood just yet, but it was a near miss.
I kind of feel like that was a little bit of the wrong targeting choice. Obviously, you want to try to take this squishier opponent, but Tristana, it was such a short lane against the rocket jump. I believe that the cooldown had just come back up. It's about a 20-second cooldown, low levels. She had used it previously before the engagement. A little bit of damage being traded now in the bot lane, but...
Yeah, that is why they nerfed Jax early game. Okay, so that's not actually come through the pipe yet, just by the way. But Yoto able to go in on that, man. He should change his name to YOLO.
But now in the top lane, another
good
Sentry.
Uh-oh, Flurry might actually find first blood here, but he's tanking tower shots. DGG was not quite in the range, and that is quite a tanky Leona. Dream now coming in to try and clear this one off, but they've been pushed up under tower all game. And here comes Leva going in. Zhao might be a little too far forward, can't get the claw off in time. Down he goes, first blood over to Yoto.
And the dark spot there is, of course, the gold stayed in the lane. It wasn't like the jungler did a drive-by on that first blood. It did go to Jax, literally the worst person on the team that you want to have that first blood.
What are you talking about? You want Fed Jax, right?
Yeah, you know. So 1-0-0. He has a CS lead. Is now going to have a big gold lead. The teleport was burned. Try to get back, pick up some of that experience, and that gold doesn't want to lose the first blood and then lose that entire minion wave to the tower there. So a little bit of a bright spot, but Zhao not where he wants to be.
No, definitely not. He will have a little bit of free push under here. Cat waiting to see if he can go in on this one, but he so far hasn't really found the angle he wants to engage on. Leva been a little bit more aggressive in that bot side. But Sentry and Dream are always pushed away from these minion waves, and this just means that Flurry's going to have a much better farming in the early game. Tristana will outscale the Lucian later on, but for the time being, they're doing a nice job at limiting this potential.
Can we talk about the 1v1 kill that just happened in the mid lane that the cameraman completely missed? Mordred and
that was interesting.
XMM. This is why Lulu needs to be in the mid lane, so she doesn't get her early game bully phase bypassed through a double jungle meta. Incredibly potent early, incredibly powerful. Obviously, Syndra, level 5, didn't have the ultimate available to her, but this is what I was talking about. Why would you counterpick yourself? It just, all gamers, I feel like they made the wrong moves, but Sentry trying to go in here.
Flayed back once again. Leva now in there. Flash is spent. DGD getting jumped on, and there's the rocket jump reset for Dream. Nicely played by Wings of Aurora, and nicely moved by Leva. Here we go. Yoto looking to go in on this one, but Zhao able to claw out of that one. Jukes in the bot lane. Yeah, this begs the question, why didn't XMM go for the lane swap mid to top, or rather mid to bot in this case? I think Zhao would have done a lot better against this Lulu.
He has, well, not even that, but I would prefer to see Lissandra in the 2v1 just to shut down the Jax. Like, I think that's so much more important. Again, you have kind of an AoE clear with her ice. I don't even know Lissandra's abilities names. It's been so long since I've seen her.
Leva, he finds his red buff actually stolen away. Yeah, Lissandra is, I think, not extremely safe unless you're able to juke out. Very high skill cap champion, similar to Syndra. But Syndra even would have done a lot better against Jackson. It looks like they're maybe going for that right now as Zhao and XMM are sitting there. A lot of AP between these two champions, and they have Cat around the other side, but so is Leva. This could be a very bloody battle if they decide to dive under turret. So far, Yoto holding strong, but he doesn't really have any recourse. Leva's here now. They have to back away. Cat's at half his health. Just hit 6 a little bit ago, so he does have the kick available if they want to use it. Wave clear, though. Yoto and Leva going to be able to take that one out, and there's really nothing to push on right now. So I feel like all gamers are just kind of drawing out the time for no reason.
They're stalling out. Obviously, the big objective would either be the dive, but Yoto's actually going to go and not going to find anything.
Oh! Does get a bit of damage, but can't quite go hard onto Zhao. There's that ultimate available as well. Would lock him up under tower range. Doesn't quite want that. But, yeah, All Gamers is trying to set up for this dragon. They're going to start it here, but this is such a dangerous position to be in as there's 4 members of Wings of Aurora in the area. They don't know this dragon is happening. Now they're pinging for it. Put the ward down. It's pulled out of the pit. DGG tanking the aggro, and this is the time for Wings of Aurora to go in on here. Sentry's going to go in. Flayed backwards. Doesn't matter. It gets smited away and managed to get picked up by Cat. Wild Growth going to come in as well as the ultimate from Zhao, and this is still looking pretty dangerous for All Gamers. Sentry staying alive. Yoto on the backside. Colin comes out. Flurry trying to beat a disengage. DGG goes down, and that's a kill over to Mortred. Now they're trying to disengage from this one. XMM lands a ball on him. This is dangerous. He flashes away. Yoto and Mortred are so low in here, but so far they've picked up a 2-for-3 advantage. The Dragon, however, has gone over to AG, and Wings of Aurora still going back in. So close on these kills. Flurry wants to hunt it, but he gets slowed down, and they do trade relatively even. However, Wings of Aurora definitely up and up on the kill count and the gold.
They just didn't collapse as well, and the other aspect was the fact that they didn't have Tristana for that fight. Wings of Aurora, of course, taking that global objective to answer the Dragon. Dragon went to All Gamers. Wings of Aurora answered with the top tower. I believe they got 1 less kill in that team fight there, but like you said, ahead on gold, got the global to match it, so 15k to 13k right now, 62.
Yeah, that was nicely evened up, too. The fight was great for them because they managed to get 3 despite giving up the dragon, which was close anyways. And then they let Dream just continually push the top lane, which completely evened up and actually gave him a farm lead.
Is going that static Shiv Rush, though. Has the Avarice completed?
Yep, we've seen it before in, I think, well, actually, the first time I saw it was North American LCS, but I think it's been tried on a lot of world stages. I'm not sure if I like it, though. It definitely delays some of Tristana's power spike.
It's actually supposed to speed it up just because you think of how quickly Tristana already pushes waves. If you add a Shiv to that, she's going to push waves even faster than the Avarice Blade with kind of the gold that it gives as far as clearing minions. It's going to be an issue as if she completes the Shiv or she's just going to sit on the Avarice Blade and then try to go more so the BF route or even the Bork route. A lot of different options, but
that part makes sense. Whoa, they're looking for this dive. Uh-oh, Cat goes back in. Maybe a mistake here. Solar Flare going to land. The Cataclysm, I don't think I saw it, but it looks like he was going for it. Didn't look like it. Looks like they do take the tower out and the dive complete. Not sure what Cat was thinking on that one.
A little too far forward, overzealous, that's about it. But I should start to see, or we should start to see Dream and Sentry rotate their way bottom, pick up that last standing first-tier tower.
Yeah, they're really roaming together quite well. All Gamers has to be careful not to get caught out of position here. They do have a significantly strong team in the AP side come the late game. However, they're on kind of a ticking timer for their AD damage. So if they want to take fights and picks, they have to group up and make sure they can catch members of Wings of Aurora out of position, not getting the opportunity for Mortred actually looking for the chase now. Very aggressive poke kind of guerrilla warfare that's been going on in this jungles.
All Gamers composition is much more suited to a pick composition. You know, you have Death Sentence, you have Syndra, so you have a big execute ability, whereas on the side of Wings of Aurora, you don't really have any upfront burst damage. Lulu will start to do good chunks of damage, but she's never going to completely 100 to 0 someone. If a Lulu 100 to 0 you, something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, that is likely not going to happen, especially in the current state, although Lulu has picked up a majority of the kills right now for Wings of Aurora, sitting on 5-0-0, has the Athenes and Holy Grail. This is fairly scary. Yordle in the mid lane, actually, with the double buffs, too.
It's that red buff. That's terrifying. But like
that is big.
We now see the 2v2 in the bot lane. Flurry has to be careful here. Dream does have a level advantage. Is actually still down into CS, which is to be expected. It's very difficult to CS with Tristana due to the explosive shot. Wow, look at that damage. Okay.
Oh man, Mortrid. Oh, okay, so Cat, realizing that that is not the most safe place to be in the jungle right now, says, okay, tag your XMM, and they have to deal with that because this is such a heavy sustained comp from Wings of Aurora. It's only going to get better and better the longer the game goes on. XMM getting caught up, has to get his stun away. Mortrid still on the chase with the slow, burning the flash of XMM now, and Cat says, all right, you couldn't do it either? Okay, this is a problem.
The bigger problem is the level disadvantage. Mortrid level 10 to that level 8 on that Syndra. Of course, level 9 is going to be key for Syndra. Due to her passive, it's level 9, 11, and 16?
Yeah, it's pretty big, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll help put a dent, but again, I cannot emphasize this enough. This guy literally counterpicked himself. You know what? I'll play Syndra. I'll play the Big Burst Assassin into the Wild Growth. We'll see how this goes. And right now, 10 to 8. That's how it's going.
Yeah, not working so well for all gamers in game number 1. Might have to rethink this come the next pick ban phase, regardless of the result of this game. But so far, Wings of Aurora definitely muscling through and showing that they mean business in the Demacia Cup. 2 towers to none at 14 minutes in. Dragon due to come up in another minute. And they do have the map control for the time being. As long as Mortrid is out on the map, all gamers is very scared to move.
Well, they also have the map control just because they have more towers up. And so obviously when your first tier tower is down, the vision is going to be passively in your favor due to the fact that the minions will be able to go deeper. Until you get a tower down, the minions should always be pushed to that side. Obviously, Jax in the top lane doing a very good job of freezing the wave for himself, making sure that Lysandra is denied even more gold and farm. Look at that, 113 to 75 right now in the top lane.
Well, they're just waiting for Jax to get up to that level where he's extremely scary. He should get Blade of the Rune King relatively soon, just because he's been able to free farm most of this. Whoa, Cat, DGG, and Flurry all hanging out near the Dragon Pit. It's going to come up pretty soon. However, there is a teleport available for Yoto. Should he want to come in on this one, should do that pretty soon, but all gamers looking to contest this one. Dream, Sentry, hanging around the side, back of the pit. Looks like this tower will be taken actually by Dream really quickly. Debating if he wants to do it because he doesn't know where all gamers is right now.
The teleport is available, like you said, for Yoto to join this fight. I will say that I like, oh my god, Mortrid in the back.
He's going to face check right into that, but he's still kiting out. They're wanting to chase this one, and he's actually sustaining through most of this. The ultimate's coming in. There's going to be Leva. Mortrid's still alive. I cannot believe he's gone through that, but the Ignite might take his health bar down. XMM is going to fall. Yoto already teleported in. Flurry now. He's in danger. DGG trying to take damage around the side, but they're not even interested in this thresh. Yoto going forward. He actually gets stunned out, so Zhao stays alive, but Cat has already fallen. Flurry's already down. They've only lost Leva for this, and Mortrid sustains through it. This is going to be a free dragon and probably a free tower for Wings of Aurora.
I mean, obviously you cannot underestimate the fact that Lulu Wild Growth was pretty much the key playmaker for that team right there. Mortrid, I think he ate 2 ults, possibly 3 right there, and survived. Look at how much health he has left. Like, he just sustained it back. Obviously, Yoda with a nice teleport, Dream getting involved on the back half of that. They get not only one global objective, the mid-tier second tower, which is incredibly important, especially at 16 minutes in the game, but then they transition it into a dragon for free. I'm pretty sure that all gamers just lost the game right there. I can't.
It's a bold statement.
Well,
but
I can't
yeah.
speak to how quickly Wings of Aurora are going to kind of now, like, I use the phrase, put the pedal to the metal, like, just not let up.
They can snowball pretty hard from here. They do have a pretty good lead, and they have a great late game scaling comp. The issue that seemed to happen right there was all gamers weren't sure if they wanted to go in on Lulu when they had a 3-man advantage in numbers, totally separated from the side of the team, and they waited till Mortrid was almost out of range before diving in. Now they're going to give up a whole lot more. Now they will be able to muscle through this tower, but it's still so dangerous for them to push forward with the gold lead and everything so heavily in favor of Wings of Aurora.
They did make a correct call there, recognizing that the tower was free, but here comes the insect on Mortrid.
Oh, he gets the kickback. That was nicely done. They're going to get the stun up. No wild growth available. Flurry will knock himself another kill and knock Mortrid back to Fountain. Mispositioning from the mid laner of Wings of Aurora, but still, massive lead remains.
I will say this about Lee Sin players in China. This is legit the last place LSPL team considered. So you mean from that perspective, the worst team in the China semi-professional circuit, still able to play Lee Sin with mechanical aptitude that you don't normally, like when you're watching NA, when you're watching EU, people, you know, oh, he got the insect, oh, the mechanical aptitude of the Lee Sin, they're so good. The Chinese players, it cannot be understated, they are so good mechanically. It's not just about, you know, getting that strategy and these calls on board.
Yeah, they're really they're really able to play any game of 1v1 they want. They can make those combos look incredibly easy. But, you know, then, as you see, they tried to start the Baron in 17 minutes. So, yeah, that was interesting. And just one or two people poking it to see if we can go something. Cat actually gets jumped in, and Buster shot it away. He's locked up and gone. I hope that ward was worth it. He only got 2 hits on it.
Worth. That's a sweet 30 gold when he gets a hold of it. He's halfway there.
Worth.
That's 15 gold in the bank. He's investing.
So at this point, Wings of Aurora are just going to be roaming through the jungle, but they'll have to wait as we get a pause into this game. A couple of mechanical issues, nothing really surprising given it. But look at the way this game is played out so far. Tower advantage, pretty big for Wings of Aurora. They're able to aggress on any lane they want to right now. And they pretty much have pressure and time on their side. I don't really know what all gamers can do to get back into this.
Like I said, that dragon play was pretty much a huge swing of power for Wings of Aurora right there. I would be shocked to see any team come back from that. That said, there have been Baron throws in China, not just in the LSPL, but in the LPL, so the dream is still alive for all gamers to come back from this. Again, Demacia Cup, it's a best of 3, so it's not a set of 2, and it's a sudden death elimination. So whoever loses here, they're completely out of the tournament. Whoever wins has the misfortune that they will be playing OMG next round. So something to take into consideration. That said, you know, upsets have happened. OMG got kicked out by, I believe, the Hangong Club from the TGA Grand Prix, one of the few teams representing that in this league, actually kicked out OMG in the G League last time. So, you know, giants do fall.
Well, and they don't win, you know, 100% of the time in general. We just saw them take a 1-1 with Invictus Gaming just the other day in LPL. So
Sir.
Things can happen. Yeah. What are you going to do, right?
Oh, goodness, please.
I want to know your
fresh.
opinions on Invictus. But hey, they got one game down, and that was with Cloud back too. It reminds me too. Speaking of OMG, do you think Cloud will be back in full swing at this point? They've looked a lot stronger with him.
There was actually rumors that Cloud was going to be benched, possibly due to the fact that his schedule for the finals. He was gone for 2 weeks. He was sick the first week, and then he had finals the second week, which is why we saw Coma subbing in. And there was kind of some unrest. You know, we need a support that's really solid, especially for an AD carry like Son. He's very dependent. Not that Son's, I'm not saying that Son's not a good AD carry. I do think that he belongs in kind of the top percentage of the Chinese AD carries, but I think that his strength is not in the lane phase. It is definitely in the team fight phase. And so he needs a strong support, and he needs a strong synergy with the support to survive that lane phase. So it is, I don't care if it's Coma, I don't care if it's Cloud, I don't care if it's Tricky Boy. They need someone in there building that synergy for Son to move forward and to progress.
But we will see how they do against the winner of these games. So far, it looks like it's going to be Wings of Aurora. They've definitely shown that they certainly have a lot better synergy together, although they relied very heavily on Mortrid to make big plays. He may not be the bursty assassin, although he has played a number of bursty assassins. Just more of a sustain monster this game. And the comp works so well into the late for them. They're incredibly good at taking little advantages in the early game and then making it happen huge later on. They're only in the mid game now, and they're already, like you mentioned, hitting a huge power spike.
All gamers just got completely outpicked. They got completely outcomped. Lulu, again, we talked about how it's a huge pick for LPL, for the Chinese region in general. You have to think the reason being who is really strong in China, like who's the most recognized player. It's going to be the AD carry. What AD carry do we specifically have in this game? We have a Tristana, a hyper game late carry. So you pick up an early mid, like Lulu, someone who has a fantastic bullying phase, obviously getting that 1v1 kill on Syndra of all champions in that mid lane at level 5, like no ultimates were even used. That
Cameraman didn't even expect it.
I know, right? And that power spike of Lulu from early shifts over. I call her a mid-bridge game. She's going to shift over into the mid to late game, and she's going to transfer all of her power from her early poke bruiser style, or excuse me, poke damage style, to Tristana in that utility form of wild growth, whimsy, things like that. Help picks, so it's fantastic.
We are back into the game, and while we were going over the strategy, Wings of Aurora take themselves another tower to jump their lead up to a total of 3 this game, have themselves a nice amount of gold in their pocket. Mortrid was actually fending off the rest of all gamers in the mid while that all happened. They're just knocking these down and making it look easy at this point. All gamers has to find an answer to this if they want to stay alive, or this game number 1 will look certainly lost in just another few minutes.
You're absolutely correct. They need to act now. Not saying that they have a power spike now because they're very far behind. You do have a couple key items out. You have the Eye Edge on Lucian, so obviously going that, I call it the late game Lucian build, because typically Lucians will do, like in the past it was the BT into the Trinity, now of course BT.
Of course there was also the Name build with the Ghost Blade.
Exactly. BT has seen some changes, so now it's more like a, you'll see Bork into Ghostblade, things like that. But whenever you see the eye edge, it's, you know, I realize that I'm going up against a hyper carry. I need to bring that eye edge damage, bring the crit damage. So a little bit later of a build to get out, but definitely more powerful. Will it be enough? You know, it's hard to say. Syndra 1, 2, and 3 doesn't even have the death cap, like what, a full full 2 items down on Lulu. Lulu has the Stork boots and the death cap complete.
Yeah, this is why Mordred just says, I can run straight to your base and you can't do anything about it. Actually going to find Cat out in the jungle who'll have to safeguard over his own wall just to get away from that one. XMM, half his health is gone. When did that happen? He's trying to farm up the jungle, but this is just taking pot shots. Oh, they might get collapsed on here. Yoto, he gets jumped in. Zhao, though, the ultimate's coming down. They're going to be able to get out of this one. Dream actually spends his flash to get away, and that's Yoto going down. Wild Growth coming in. They're answering for this one in kind, though. Wings of Aurora are doing so much work. Cataclysm comes in to finish off Zhao. Tower going to be abandoned for just the time being. DGG came to the party a little bit late. Everybody is a blinking health bar right now on all gamers, and they're coming in for second win. They might have lost Jax, but they've still got plenty of damage. Diving on forward, Sentry nearly gets the Zenith Blade off, and they take the tower down. Dream shoving it as hard as he can, and they've cracked this wide open. The base is now under fire. XMM trying to sustain up, but he's got nothing to be able to stop this onslaught. This is going to be inhibitor number 1, and it's only 20 minutes into the game.
And you're absolutely right. They only traded 1 for 1, although it looks like all gamers might look to defend this inhibitor. They have to be careful because if they die here...
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So they're going to take this one out. Last-ditch effort. Syndra coming in. Sentry getting locked up, but he's still managing to get away and survive. Levi around the side. Yoto, it's just like a tag team effort, and Dream jumps in to explode Cat. Levi staying alive, just barely. Ignite almost takes him down, but miraculously staying alive. Yoto goes in on a flurry and picks himself up another kill. Buster Shot going to come in. Tristana knocking down DGG. It's only XMM, and this is going to be GG in game number 1. Wings of Aurora looking so strong in this Demacia Cup round.
Will they be able to finish it, though? They are now knocking on the second Nexus tower, going down pretty fast. Will they stay? They're going to stay for the Nexus. So like you said, it is going to be game, and this is... I said they cannot die here. It will be game over for them. They chose to fight over the inhibitor, which...
questionable decision.
It's a questionable shot call. Literally, you can say, okay, we're just going to give the inhibitor. We're going to back off because obviously we can't defend it, and we can look to stall this game out, maybe look for a Baron throw, something like that. The fact that they chose to engage that pretty much one after the other, just high-fiving each other into sudden death. All gamers, weak picks and bans, weak... They even had the counter pick. They had the red side, which has a huge win % over the blue side in China because counter picking is so important to them. Lost on red side, got beat at 20 minutes. This looks like it's going to be an easy 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, you know, and you look at the way that the items ended up going, and just in general the rotations from all gamers, they barely were able to finish up some of even what you would argue starting items. Syndra never did get the death cap up. This is a really troubling start.
Going for the Void Staff, too. Like, even more troubling. She was so far behind that she had to go for the Void. Not because she wanted to, but because she had to at that point to even dent any of those shields from Lulu.
Yeah, it was not only did Lulu get pretty big, Mordred was able to frontline most of those fights, but then... you had the hyper carry start to kick in. Tristana started scaling very well. Jax started scaling very well. The composition was just so much better out of Wings of Aurora, and they just made better decisions. All gamers tried to reverse the lane swap to get their fortunes in the 2v2 lane. Never really worked out. Cat favored that lane, and they barely were able to make picks on it. Just in general, much better decision making from Wings of Aurora, and that is why they took a handy game number 1, and it was only about 21 minutes in. So that will be the end of that first match. There is, coming up after a brief break, will be match number 2 between Wings of Aurora and All Gamers, and possibly game 3, but if it all continues as it did last time, not so sure about that one, Frosker. And guys, we will be back in just a few moments, so please enjoy the commercial break, and you're watching the Demacia Cup coverage on LPLEN. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. This is our coverage of the Demacia Cup, brought to you by Ghosted Gamers and Games in Asia. I'm Pyrotechnics on the casting desk this morning, this evening, wherever in the world you find yourself. And of course, joining me now is the awesome and talented Frosker.
I've never had an intro quite like that, Pyro, thank you.
Ah, well, I wanted to give you something special. I saw your coverage at IM was quite nice to see.
Yeah, it was a little special, a little bit of a big event for me. But today we got some good games. We got Wings of Aurora versus All Gamers.
Wings of Aurora, of course, the one of the tied third place teams in the LSPL right now. They have been in the LPL in its initial iteration, so they're a team that might be a little stronger than you might think, just considering they're in the second league. They recently beat King 2-0, and King, of course, is currently the first place team in the LSPL. So maybe favorites here. I don't know. Their opponents not looking so hot.
Well, All Gamers is technically last place in the LSPL, and every time I say All Gamers, I'm just like, On Gamers sponsors a team and they're in last? Color me surprised. No, they don't sponsor the team. It just ties up the words. But like you said, Wings of Aurora definitely the favorites here to win, but we did see some upsets. Last week, LGD was taking out, so I mean, it can happen. Maybe All Gamers for Season 5 Worlds? Is that dream
maybe.
alive?
It's a dream. Let's leave it at that. Right now, these teams actually haven't even faced each other yet in the LSPL too. So this is going to be an interesting matchup to highlight relative strengths and weaknesses. Now, being the underdogs too, All Gamers always have the option to pull out something completely nuts. Best 2 out of 3 format, you can get away with that, and looks like we're heading into champ selection immediately. So Wings of Liberty, I'm playing StarCraft here. Wings of Aurora are going to be on the blue side. Their opponents on the red. Yasuo, Ziggs already banned away.
Expected to see a lot of these bans. These are pretty common throughout the LSPL and the LPL. Obviously, Ziggs, really well known for being a big crutch in China. Gragas kind of the...
I don't know why they wouldn't go something a little more standard anyways. A lot of bruiser heavy composition on that side. Meanwhile, on the other side, All Gamers is looking for the Syndra and Lucian pickup, and they will get it. So the Lifesteal bot lane, it's going to happen.
Lifesteal bot lane, also the Syndra in the mid lane is a big pickup for China. That said, I have to question, Kelsey spoke previously about the power of red side and how counterpicking is really important in Chinese League of Legends. I kind of feel like he just counterpicked himself. You don't normally pick a high burst assassin. Yes, Syndra does have the highest burst damage in the game as far as any mage, but you just pick that into a Lulu, which is well known for being the direct counter to any sort of assassins, just because if you go all in on her, she's just going to wild growth herself. But a Lissandra hover.
This could very well be a top double AP comp. However, normally you think of Lissandra as going in the top in that situation, but this might be the crazy thing we were thinking about if they send wherever the Lulu is, send Lissandra.
Yet, the thing is that Lulu could be top or mid. China plays a lot of Lulu top, and on the other side, All Gamers locking in the Thresh and the Lee Sin.
Definite must picks in a lot of cases. Lee Sin is just a crazy priority for any jungler, just about. In the LPL and the LSPL, I mean, there are some varieties too, but he definitely is something that gets contested on a regular basis. And look at this, Wings of Aurora hovering over the Jax. Do you think this means we're going to see a Lulu mid?
I prefer to see Lulu mid. I think you've had my speech many times, Pyra, about why I don't think Lulu top needs to be a thing anymore, especially in the double jungle meta, just because she doesn't do that very well. But with that Jax lock-in, especially with the Jarvan, that is not going to be the jungle Jax, although I don't know why they wouldn't lock in. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the jungler just wouldn't pick up his own champion right there. So maybe they're gonna pull, you know,
it's
a 180.
style points. I mean, it'd be an interesting thing to see Jarvan mid jungle Jax, but I don't think Wings of Aurora are that crazy. And being favored to win this game, I don't.
New flavor of the month as far as top lane, pretty much played consistently every single time. Cassidy has actually played more in the LSPL than the LPL. That said, the LSPL has 16 teams. Excuse me, more teams. Yeah, I think it's 16. 16 teams, was the LPL only has 8. Both these numbers will be growing, however, in subsequent seasons, and it looks like a Kog'Maw ban is finally going to come out, so LSPL has it figured out.
Ban the Kog'Maw. It's alright, guys, we can do this. So, yeah, with Braum and Gragas taken away too, this definitely is a heavy focus on some of the more utility-based champions, although this leaves open some options still on 4.10, and that Kale looking to be locked in from Wings of Aurora right now. This will be on to Yoto. If he does go for it, be the top lane, but they might opt for the flex pick Lulu instead. Looks like it will be.
I was going to say, there were a lot of big priority picks up. Jax, Kale, Lulu, all incredibly big in China.
Everywhere in China, really.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere in the world as well. Obviously, like you said, still on 4.10, so Kale and Jax have not received their nerfs.